Hey guys, what's going on? Brandon here, and today I'm doing my review of Spider-Man Brand New Day, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. This movie stars Tom Holland and Zendaya and Jacob Batalon and John Bernthal, and Mark Ruffalo makes an appearance. It's not in the movie a ton, but I do like the way he was used. I don't think he was used too little. I don't think he was used too much. I think he was used perfectly. Same with John Bernthal, by the way. John Bernthal was used more than I thought he would be, but I liked the way he was used. And Sadie Sink, who I'm not going to talk about who she plays. It's everywhere online, and you can find it if you want to find it, even if you haven't seen the movie. And you know, this might be a little bit of just me telling you, like it's the obvious one in terms of like it's been online for a while on who she is probably playing, but she does a fantastic job. She is an incredible actress. She is, everything she's been in. I've loved her in The Well. Obviously Stranger Things, but I think that's the most obvious one that everyone is instantly going to think of. But The Well, if you haven't seen it, is a fantastic film, and she just puts on a killer performance in that movie. Just as she does here, she's not like in the movie. She's in the third act a lot. And the third act of this movie, in my view, and I'm not going to spoil anything, I love everything about, there's very few negatives I have regarding this film. And, but I think my favorite part of this movie is the third act. I think that everything leading up to that, I love, and I think that, there's a lot of times when, I will say that a movie is too long, I didn't feel that with this. I didn't feel like there was anything in this film that you should have cut out, and they didn't cut anything out. Then obviously they didn't trim the fat because it's 2 hours and 24 minutes long. But I don't think that you can trim the fat here, really. I mean, there might have been some things you could have shortened or cut out or whatever, but I don't think that this movie would have as much of an emotional impact if you do that. And this movie has just a killer emotional impact, and that's why you get a guy like Destin Daniel Cretton, who has directed other films that are more emotional and more, smaller kind of emotional pieces, character stories and shit. That's why you get a guy like that. That's why you don't get, someone who's just going to direct a straight action film. That's not what this is. And that's not what this should be. But this movie deals with the aftermath of all of Peter Parker's decisions in the past film, especially at the end of Brand New Day when he, tragically, when Tom Holland's Peter Parker had to tragically make all of his friends forget him. And he's living his life alone. And he's in like a very, very emotionally rough spot. But this movie works so well from an emotional standpoint. There's something about this movie that I love this movie. And if I had to rank it, I think right now I'd put it just behind Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2. And so I would put it just behind that currently, but in terms of live action, but that might change. I'm seeing it again tomorrow, and so I'm very excited to see it again tomorrow, and maybe do a spoiler kind of talk about it. We'll see. But this movie, the cinematography is incredible. I think that the web swinging in this film is the best that we've ever had in any Spider-Man movie ever. By far, really. I mean, I think that this movie blends the realistic kind of, because they did some live web swinging, I know, for this movie. Obviously not all of it's live, because they literally couldn't do that. They couldn't do every single shot of this movie in terms of the web swinging, live. It's not feasible. So, but the ones that they do live, you do see like the more of the realism. It's the one that they do with CGI. The ones that do with CGI, it does work, and it works a lot better, I would say, than some of the past films have at times. And this movie, again, it's gonna stick with me for a while because I was very emotionally grabbed by this movie. And I'm trying not to like spoil anything, but Peter's in a very dark place, is what I'll say. And the Punisher in this movie, I kind of had a question. One of the things I was kind of worried about was like, is this going to work with the Punisher in this kind of Spider-Man universe? And I know that like the Disney Plus and like / Netflix stuff is technically in the same universe as the other movies, but it doesn't feel like it most of the time. It feels like those are way more like, hard, I guess you could say, like way more like hard kind of R territory, not even, but like, not completely R, but like, more like violent and more language than the movies have. But it works, and it works very well. There are things about this movie that I can't really say in terms of like positives and negatives, because I feel like it would give away certain things. I think I've already talked about the cinematography, but yeah, it's great. And the directing of the actors is incredible. This movie is the best MCU movie made since Endgame. This is the best MCU movie since Endgame. Hands down. I'm not saying it's perfect, because it's not, and this is high praise, because I love Thunderbolts. I very much enjoyed Fantastic Four. Even though even though I liked Thunderbolts way more, but I enjoyed Fantastic Four. That movie had a very emotional kind of resonance for me too. So there are things about this movie again I just can't say. Another thing I did like, though, that I was worried that they might give Peter kind of the easy out in terms of his friends. I don't want to spoil it, but like in terms of his friends, he doesn't get an easy out. I'm not saying anything about other than that, but he doesn't get an easy out in terms of being kind of back with them. Might be a little bit of a spoiler, but you know what I mean. It's not easy. Regardless of what happens, it's not easy. And I like that. This movie, 2 hours, 24 minutes, didn't feel like it. There's very few negatives here. And it's honestly hard for me to think of like one that's not like completely nitpicky, because I have some nitpicks, but like I don't want to nitpick. I enjoyed this movie too much to nitpick. So the one thing I will say, as far as a negative goes, that's not completely nitpicky, is that if I can say this without spoiling it, I don't think I can say it without spoiling anything. I don't think I can actually say this without spoiling anything. So I think I'm just Yeah, I'm just gonna end my review here. I'm gonna give this movie a 9 out of 10. That's currently where I'm at. Could go up, could go down with the second viewing, but that's where I'm gonna put it at this second. I'm excited to see it tomorrow. Again, with the few nitpicks I have and the kind of more major thing that I don't really want to talk about, it's not like a major flaw, but it's something that did kind of get on my nerves. And maybe it doesn't get on my nerves tomorrow, and maybe that's where, you get up to like a 9.5. I don't think that this is going to get up to a 10 because of the nitpicks. But the nitpicks I have to be pretty specific about, and the one major thing, or the one kind of ish major thing, I do also need to be a little specific about it. But I'm going to watch it again specifically for kind of that more major thing, even though, again, it's not hurting its score, like, very much at all. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Peace.